Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Council members, city officials, our home audience, I'd like to welcome you all to the May 8th City Council meeting. Tonight we have 22 items on our agenda. It's an not awfully, but it's a big evening. I thought it might be a record, but Mr. Fawson tells me they've had more than that in the past. If you would, Mr. Fawson, let's please continue with the roll call of members.
Public hearing starts.
Oh, that's correct. We have a public hearing, which I'll turn over to you. Correct?
You can conduct it.
The public hearing?
Yes.
Okay, public hearing is in session. The public hearing is for the first item on the agenda this evening. It'll be a third reading tonight. It is going to be to approve the rezoning of the property located at Stone Ridge Court at Stone Ridge Drive from suburban residential multiple family district to single family residential district. The public hearing, of course, is scheduled this evening. Do we have anybody that has any discussion they'd like to bring up on this matter this evening? Not seeing any. Is there a roll call on this? There is a roll call for council to approve it, and we then again prove it tonight with our legislation. Or
There's no roll call during the public hearing. Just asking.
if there is no more discussion on this public hearing, then at this time we will consider this hearing been held, and we will close this public hearing and move on to our regular meeting this evening. So at this time, we will have roll call of our members this evening.
Clay.
Here.
Corker.
Here.
Florina. Here. Gray.
Here.
Kearney.
Here.
Neal.
Here.
Patrick.
Here.
Kroll.
Here.
Tatman. Here.
At this time, if everybody would, please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The minutes from the previous meeting have been distributed for review. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes by Mr. Clay, seconded by Mrs. Gray? Roll call on that motion.
Clay.
Yes.
Corker.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And our minutes have been approved from the last meeting. At this time, we have reports of committees. Who'd like to go first? Mr. Kroll.
The Finance Committee has 3 items on tonight's agenda. Item number 2 is at third reading, and it is to appropriate $697.58 for the purchase of video projector for use in City Council. Item number 20 is at first reading, and is to appropriate the current replacement pages for the city's codified ordinance. And just to clear this off at the appropriate time, I would like to ask that we just waive the 3-read rule and accept those pages. We also have item number 22, which is at first reading. This is to authorize the insurance of not to exceed $175 million for hospital facilities, revenue, refunding, and improvements bonds, Series 2017 Adena Health System Obligated Group Project, and additional related authorizations. Public hearing scheduled for Monday, May the 22nd. Did the auditor want to add anything to this?
Yeah, actually, we had a meeting last week to discuss this, and we have some visitors here today, Drew Linenbaum from Dinsmore and some representatives from the hospital that they need to sign up to talk about it, to give a brief overview, or?
They can do it prior at the end of all the committee reports if they like, and talk about it a little bit more right before public announcement. You can hold it now, it doesn't matter.
speak through probably.
You want a snap?
If you want to,
All
sure.
right. I can do that.
We're reporting on our committees this evening. Sure, go ahead.
My name is John Fortney. I'm the interim CEO at Dina Health System. I've lived in the community for 35 years. I grew up in Columbus and finished training at Nationwide Children's in 1982 and came down here to start the practice of pediatrics. Almost simultaneously, I also took on a position as a professor of pediatrics in the emergency department at Children's, and for 25 years worked both places, so that kind of an academic background as well as private practice, and then became interested in administrative duties both at Children's and here, and for the last 15 years or so have been involved in some way, shape, or form in administrative work. When Mr. Shooter couldn't come to an agreement with the board on extending his term as CEO, they asked me to be the interim, which I said I was happy to do. You know, my primary goal in life is to make Adina successful, because now they're taking care of me, so suddenly it's taken on a whole new meaning in terms of who we have out there, so very important. And what we're doing is that we're actually issuing bonds that total $40 million for an emergency department renovation. It's really a redo. For anybody who's been out there, it's not had anything done since the 70s, since I can remember coming, to be quite honest with you. We still have curtained rooms, which are totally unacceptable and probably violate HIPAA and any number of other codes. And it's really not a welcoming environment for people in Chillicothe and the surrounding areas. And everybody knows that the emergency department is the window to your hospital. And that's reflected in the patient experience scores that we get. Everybody was nice, but the places that don't. I mean, what else can you say? And you know, you got to shake your head and say, yeah, you're absolutely right. And we've put this off for too long. It's been something that's been, you know, at the front of the line for many years, but other things always come up and take precedence, as I'm sure happens with the city as well. You know, you want to fix this road, this road, this road, and this road, but something else comes up and trumps it, and that's what's happened to us. But in this current environment, the interest rates are so low. When we looked at not only that $40 million of new money, but the rest of it that we already had committed as bonds, it made sense to go and redo the 2008 bonds, because over the lifetime of the bonds, it's going to save us somewhere between $12 and $15 million. So that, you know, we're not talking about a small amount of money, so it's well worth doing. The city in this process becomes the conduit, so they really have no financial responsibility. It still lies with Adina. And we're just asking council to use their ability as a, you know, a public entity to be the conduit. We've used the commissioners before, but they had a bigger issue they were going to put out this year, so it would have made it a little bit more expensive for us. Although the city does have some aim to issue some debt, it's lower, and we're more than happy to make up for the difference between their interest rates that they would get and what they would have gotten if we hadn't done this issue. So we think it's a win-win for everybody. We've really tried hard to become partners with the city. I think that's very evident with the Carlisle building, although there was lots of drama involved. At the end of the day, it got done. City got us parking, and we got the building, and now we have medical students living there, medical residents, some of our executive staff, and they couldn't be happier. It's really helping us in terms of recruitment, because medical students all over the country are lining up to come here, and then they find out how good the teaching is, and they want to come back and be residents. So that, and then ultimately we hope to retain them and keep them in the community as providers, so that it's a giant wheelhouse that so far has worked extremely well. So we've gone from 0 applicants to our residency the first year to over 600 last year. So that we're becoming a place to go. We're becoming a destination. And this is mainly for kids that are coming from towns smaller than ours, that view Chillicothe as a metropolitan area.
you can laugh all you want, but they're coming from, you know, West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, towns of 3,000, 4,000, where this really is the big city. And it's been very entertaining because I've been here, 35 years. They know 100 times more than I do about where you go for, you know, bike riding, the paths, everything that's available. And, you know, that is really very comforting that we're bringing in people that want to be here and want to stay here rather than recruiting for money and then 2 years later they decide, well, where's the beachfront property, where's the Lexus dealer, and next thing we know they're moving to Columbus or Cincinnati or Dayton. So all of these things, you know, are in play, and the bonds are just, you know, one more addition. We'll have a state-of-the-art emergency department where people hopefully don't have to wait, much more welcoming, and it will help us recruit residents to that program. So got a lot going for us, and we would appreciate the city's help. But if you have any questions or concerns, it's important to let us know so we can try to answer those.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Ford. I appreciate that very much.
Okay, before I conclude my report, I would like to address two items that are on the agenda that are not my committee, but that I addressed last time. This items 4 and 5, and I just want to state that I have reservations about going into this 4-year term idea. I feel that it'll greatly change the local government and how it works, and not necessarily for the better. As a council person, I can understand a desire for security, but as a citizen, I value the opportunities presented by 2-year terms. End of the day, the benefit to citizens outweighs the benefit to council, and I'm sure my fellow council members agree. And I ask that the rest of council please consider this as we look into this tonight. And thanks a lot. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any other committee reports? Yes, Ms. Patrick.
Thank you. The Utilities and Special Committee have 7 items to report on tonight. Item number 4, it's the third reading of a resolution to place on the November ballot the question, should City Council and Council President be elected to 4-year terms? If passed by the voters, the Council President and members' terms would increase from 2 to 4 years on the first day of January following the next regular election, which would be January 1st, 2020. Number 5 is the third reading of an ordinance that would add 2 sections to our city's ordinances. The first one would be that each member of council and the council president would be elected for a 4-year term. And the second part is this ordinance can only go into effect if the increase in term length is passed by the voters. So the voters have final say on that. Number 6 is the third reading of an ordinance accepting and adopting the new City of Chillicothe Transit System Procurement Policy, the Chillicothe Transit System Financial Management Policies, and the CTS QuickBooks Accounts Payable and Receivable Procedures for the Transit Department. These policies are required by ODOT and need to be in place by May 17th. Number 7, it's a second reading appropriating $7,000 to install a dry sump behind 169 East 7th Street. This alley runs parallel with East 7th between Madeira and Hickory Streets. The low point of the alley happens to fall behind the garage at 169 East 7th Street and results in standing water as much as 10 to 12 inches deep. There are no storm sewers close enough to tie into. To correct this problem, our crew will install a dry sump. The estimated cost is roughly $7,000, and this will be paid out of the stormwater line item in the general fund. Each year we budget $30,000 to correct these type of situations. This will go all 3 readings. Number 8 is the second reading to install a street light on the southeast corner of East Main and Logan Streets intersections. The residents in the area have complained that this intersection is way too dark at night. Safety Service Director Carmen looked at the intersection and agrees with the residents. His suggestion is to add a street light to the existing pole. The cost of an additional light will be approximately $17 per month. This will also go all 3 reads. Number 9 is the second reading, accepting and adopting the new Safety, Security, and Emergency Preparedness Plan and the Blood-Borne Pathogens Exposure Plan for the Transit Department. These again are policies required by ODOT. Transit will be having their technical assistance review on May 17th, and they need these policies in place before then. Because of this, I will ask to waive the 3-read rule and pass this tonight. And finally, number 10 is the first reading declaring the utilities backhoe obsolete and not needed and authorizing the utilities director to trade it in on the purchase of a new backhoe. I had asked for a second value of the old backhoe, and it has been received, and it's $4,500. The first estimate was $6,000, and that was from the company selling us the new backhoe. The new backhoe will be ready any day, so at the appropriate time, I will ask to waive the 3-read rule on this as well. And before I quit talking, I would just like to comment on number 4 and 5. Even though I chaired this committee, I am voting no against items number 4 and 5. My vote is based solely on the number of citizen contacts that I've received. These contacts were overwhelmingly negative. And I'm pleased to say that the committee did its job. We prepared the legislation, and it still will go to the voters if it passes tonight. But if it doesn't, my vote reflects what the residents want me to vote. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Patrick. Any other committee reports? Mr. Clay?
City Services has one item on the agenda tonight. It's item number 3, a third reading to appropriate $16,900 to upgrade the HVAC control system in the city administration building. And I would ask for council's favorable vote on that item when it's up tonight. And then I would also like to comment on items 4 and 5. I too will be voting no on these two items. I've given it a lot of thought and a lot of consideration, and I remember back last year during our campaign at the League of Women Voters candidate night, this question came up to all of us then. And those of us that were there that night, we all answered relatively the same, and that is we believed that we felt if we were to go to 4-year terms, that was something that needed to be a movement that came out of the community, not from council. That council should not spearhead that effort. My fear is that it looks self-serving. We've spent a lot of time building goodwill and trust with the voters. I don't want to see that jeopardized. I don't believe that we have the reasons in front of us to go to 4-year terms. Continuity of government and being more efficient and effective, I don't think we have a problem in those areas. I think that this council in this term has taken on tough decisions, big challenges, and we've done it efficiently and effectively. And I know as a brand new council member, where continuity of government is concerned, I have a number of people that I can reach out to that have a number of years of experience on council. Councilwoman Beth Neal, Alicia Gray, and then Councilman Tapman have been fantastic mentors to me and have helped to make sure that I'm heading in the right direction with my assignments. We may not always agree politically, and that's fine, but they always make sure that I'm heading in the right direction. So I just don't believe that there's a benefit to council that makes it worth our vote. My biggest concern is that we're taking the voice away from the voters. Local government has more of an impact on their daily lives, and I feel that therefore they should have more control and more of a powerful voice over their local government. Going to 4-year terms, I think, puts that at risk. So I'll be voting no. And that concludes my report.
Any other committee?
Yes,
Yes.
I have just one, and which is from the Community Service Committee. And first of all, I would like to thank our mayor for bringing this to the committee in terms of supporting a community yard sale to be held the weekend of June the 2nd through June the 4th, and waive the yard sale permit fee of $5 for that weekend. That may sound like a simple thing, but he got a lot of positiveness out of that. Everyone that has heard about it has been excited because it gives an opportunity for you to really kind of interact with the people in your neighborhood. And we've really got a lot of mileage out of that, Mayor. So we thank you very much for bringing that to this committee.
Dr. Kearney, would we consider waiving the 3-read rules so that we could have time to promote this?
Thank you for reminding me. You know I'm new at this.
Teamwork.
Dr. Kearney, if I may add, this will not take effect before that weekend unless we add emergency language to the ordinance. Do you wish to make a motion to amend it to add emergency language?
I would definitely like
I'll
to
second.
make
I
a
have a
motion to amend that for it to be an emergency.
I have a motion to amend it to emergency legislation, second by Mr. Prohl. Roll call on the motion to amend that ordinance reading.
Clay,
Yes.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Florina,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Kearney,
Yes.
Neal,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Prohl,
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And we will read that to include emergency legislation. Anything else?
No, well, thank you, Mr. Pro, for reminding me. I said I knew it this, but it has been about 30 years.
Thank you, Ms. Kerr.
since it's-
Like David said, we all have each other's back.
Thank you.
Any other committee reports at this time? Yes, Mrs. Gray?
The Human Resources Committee met this evening to review and discuss assignment number 17-063, which is to request legislation to ratify the agreement between the City of Chillicothe and the International Association of Firefighters as described. And legislation is currently with the Law Director's Office, and it is our hope to have it presented on the agenda for the May 22nd meeting, the City Council. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Gray. Any other committee reports? Mr. Florina?
Thank you, President Arnold. Safety Services has a number of items, 7 in total. Starting with item number 13, first reading, authorizing the city, authorizing Chillicothe Municipal Court to apply for the Victims of Crime Act and the State Victims Assistance Act grants, accepts said grants. It's a time-sensitive thing for the submission of grant, so I would ask for a waiving of the 3-read rule and a positive from the rest of the council, considering this is something that we do on the annual. Number 14, first reading ordinance to appropriate $4,500 to extend maintenance contract for the municipal court. This is an ongoing thing as well, and it's pressing, so I will also ask to waive the 3-read rule. Number 15, first reading of an ordinance to accept and appropriate $2,335 in grant funds received from the Junior Civic League for the use of the Chillicothe Fire Department. Seeing as how this money is available, I would say that we would waive the 3-read rule to accept the funds. Number 16, first reading to accept and appropriate $3,000 received from the Ross County Auditor for to be used for anti-bullying education and prevention by the Chillicothe Police Department. Again, these are funds that are available, so I would ask to waive the 3-read rule to accept and appropriate accordingly. Number 17, first, got it? Okay. Number 17, appropriate $1,000 to cover the cost related to the lease and operation of a new copy machine for the use by the Chillicothe Municipal Court Probation Department. This is also a pressing need, so I will again ask to waive the 3-read rule. Number 18, accept and appropriate $6,800 Ohio Courts Technology Grant. Again, the money is available, so I will ask to waive the 3-read rule to accept and appropriate. And finally, first reading to provide the issuance of a $235,000 bond for police vehicles. We had a prior meeting about this, and we had the chief and we had the auditor available. This was, just to refresh everyone, this was part of the budget for 2017. We've already discussed that, and the first payment is in the budget. So it's nothing new. This was planned. So this is also time sensitive to have the order in for the current model year. So at the appropriate time, I will be asking to waive the 3-read rule. That again, well, before that, I will say with item 19 for the yard sale, that has been a good Kroger conversation for me with a lot of people, and it has gotten a lot of mileage when people did. So people are definitely wanting to get involved on that, so that'd be pretty cool. So I'm definitely in support of that. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Florina. Any other committee reports? Yes, Ms. Neal. Ms. Neal.
Thank you, Mr. President. Development Committee has 3 items tonight on the agenda, or 2 items on the agenda. One item that I'm going to ask to waive the 3-day receipt rule. But the first one is number 11. It's to accept and appropriate $4,022 received as a payoff of a check mortgage. I'm going to ask to waive the three-read rule just to have the money appropriated. It is there and waiting. Number 12 is to authorize the Ohio Regional Development Commission to file an application for the city to participate in the 2017 CDBG Community Development Allocation Program and the 2017 CDBG Community Development Critical Infrastructure Competitive Set-Aside Program. This legislation has a June 16th deadline for the application, so at the appropriate time, I'll ask to waive the three-read rule. And the ordinance that I'm asking to waive the 3-day receipt rule is assignment 17055. This assignment is to give property located at 52 Western Avenue to the Ross County Land Bank. There is a May 10th deadline for the land bank to have properties acquired. Even though I think there's a bit of an extension on that, I will ask to waive the three-read rule also to get this in the hands of the land bank. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to waive the 3-day receipt rule.
I have a motion to waive the 3-day receipt rule, seconded by Mr. Clay. Roll call on that motion.
Clay,
Yes.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Florina,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Kearney,
Yes.
Neal,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
We've waived the 3-day receipt rule, so we will read that ordinance this evening as item number 23.
One last thing, if I could comment on this, items number 4. I've received several negative comments from the public that want to know why I'm trying to vote myself in another 2 years. And that's not the kind of rapport that I want to have with people that I'm trying to help and trying to build confidence in their city government. For them to think that I'm trying to weasel my way into another 2-year term. So I will also be voting against this, and I think if it's something that the community wants, that it needs to come from someone in the community, not from the council members themselves or from this body. So that concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome, thank you. Any other reports, committees? Mr. Tatman, not last but not least.
Thank you, President Arnold. I really want to go first with this tonight because I figured I was going to need a nap by the time we got done with it. Item number one, we had a public hearing tonight. It's the third reading, so we'll get to vote on it tonight. But it's the property located at Stone Ridge Court and Stone Ridge Drive. They want to go from residential multiple family to single family, and there was no public comments during the hearing, so I think we're okay to go with this. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Tatman.
Now I can take a nap.
There you go.
Stop it.
I'm gonna take the camera off of you so you can. Reports of our officials. We'll start out with our mayor, Mr. Luke Kilkenny.
Thank you, President Arnold. Speak to a few of our 23 items tonight. First, in support of item number 12, which Councilwoman Neal mentioned, just to give you some specifics, that competitive set-aside grant is the $300,000 grant that we're applying for that's competitive, that we would apply to the Western Avenue Sidewalk project. This council has already committed to that project, and so this enhances our ability to get it done. ODOT's already in for over $250,000, so it expands our capacity to do that project and do it well. So I would support her request to waive the 3-read rule tonight and authorize ORDC to file that on our behalf. I also like to speak to item number 19, the yard sale day. I'm glad that it's well received. It is, when we were looking at the calendar for the year, the impetus really came from the fact that we were trying to figure out when we're starting large item pickup. And of course, this starts the weekend before, or the weekend, I guess, basically, the large item pickup begins. But I would speak in support of waiving that 3-read rule so we can get some advertising going and let our neighbors know, take advantage of what I suppose could be a fun weekend. Speaking in support of item, I think it was 23, which would be 52 Western Avenue. This is a property that the city acquired, residential property that can meet the requirements of the land bank. We are working diligently to get as many properties into that land bank queue as we can. We're in close communication with the facilitators of that grant, and so the more we have in the queue, the more of that grant money, $500,000 originally awarded, we can capture and retain for this community. So I'd speak in support of that additional item, which I believe is item 23 tonight. And then two just bits of good news before I wrap up. First, for those of you who were at the committee meeting prior to this meeting, I announced that we did receive the Ohio EPA grant that we applied for the recycling program. That's a grant in the amount of $250,000, which is a nice chunk of money. Recycling itself is not approved yet. We're still in those planning phases, but just for those of you following along at home. And then the other last bit of good news is that flower baskets started going up today downtown, and we are well on our way to another beautiful summer in historic Chillicothe. With that, I'll conclude my report.
Very good, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. And now our auditor, Ms. Spetnagel.
There's two items on the agenda that I was going to talk about tonight. Item number 21 is to issue $235,000 for police vehicles. This is, like you already said, included in the budget. It will be for a 4-year term with annual payments. I would like for you to support the waiving of the 3-read rule as well, because they need to get the order in to the manufacturers before shutdown, so they need to get this financing done as soon as possible. And then the next item, which we kind of just talked about, item number 2, the issuance of the Adena bonds. Drew's here, and he can, from Dinsmore, and I was thinking that he could give just a little quick thing about the rules that the city would have as far as if we would choose to do this.
Sure. Thank you, Auditor Spetnagel. My name's Drew Lindbaum. I'm with Dinsmore and Scholl as bond counsel on this issue. You've heard a little bit about that this ordinance authorizes the city's issue of up to $175 million from hospital facilities revenue bonds, for the benefit of Adena Health System. Heard from Dr. Fortney what those proceeds will be used for. The important thing to remember is that these are not general obligations of the city. They're payable solely by Adena Health. We had a chance last week to talk a little bit, so really tonight I just want to make sure that we answer any questions that you might have. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Ms. Spetnagel. And our law director,
Thank you,
Ms. Rutherford.
Thank you, President Arnold. In 1962, President Kennedy signed a proclamation designating May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which that date falls is National Police Week. This year, it's May 15th through 21st. We in Chillicothe are very fortunate to not have a large number of police officers who have given their lives in the line of their duty, but we have to remember the officers who have fallen. I would encourage council and our entire community to express our thanks, show our respect, and give recognition to the brave men and women who put their lives on the line every single day in order to keep our families and our community safe. And that is all I have to report on. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take this opportunity to just mention a couple of things. Prior to this meeting, our auditor put on a great presentation for our current budget review, and I just want to commend her for that. She did a good job. I normally don't make remarks, but I do want to make comments on items number 4 and 5. I don't know how these this discussion came from trying to give a more consistent representation for the people. I know going around earlier, getting petitions, every door I went to, the people said, "What, already? What, already? Why do you have to do this?" And I know myself, being in here for a 1-2 year stint, it's hard to learn what's going on that length of time. You don't get to see budget after budget for years. No discussion that I've had until anybody just talked to tonight talked about being a power grab or trying to be self-serving. I don't know where that language and that discussion came from the people, but just keep in mind that we're not voting for it this evening. We're voting to give the people the chance to vote it up or down. So that's one thing I think that you ought to keep in mind when voting for either item 4 or 5, is that it's still the people's choice. It's not our choice, and I don't feel we're doing it for ourselves. One thing I would have liked to have seen done different, and I said it from the get-go, is I would have liked to have seen the council split up into 2 groups, so that they would have, if they did 4-year terms, they would have done it on staggered 2-year terms, so that there would be a rotating of people. And I do feel that keeping people fresh and in the servants of the community, I think, is very needed. And I think that would have probably presented a little bit better approach to have gone to a 4-year term. The only other thing I'd like to add is I would like to give my condolences to a previous council member, Mr. Trutchell, in the passing of his wife. And that's all I have to say this evening. At this time, we move on to audience participation. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to council this evening? I don't have anybody on the sign-in sheet. Yes, if you would, please state your name and your address, please.
Hi, my name's Brandon Lawson. I live at 647 Lynn Street in Chillicothe. I would just like to comment real quick again on items number 4 and 5. I've shaken most of your hands. Maybe you don't know exactly what I do. I'm a political science professor at the University of Rio Grande. And when I hear political science questions like this, the first thing that goes off in my head is, what does the research say? I don't want to know what do people think, I want to know what do the numbers say. And the numbers basically say that it's all a good thing to go to 4. Again, like President Arnold said, most of the research says that staggered 4-year terms are better than one lump 4-year term for the whole council. But the research is spotty, and the research is new, because most of the research has happened within the past 10 years, and most of the research that I was able to find, both in academic literature and in newspapers and things like that, comes from large metropolitan areas. So is it a similarly situated case? Probably not. Most of it comes from places like Boston, from places like Baltimore. The closest one to us comes from Hamilton County. Most of the time, the research says that because in 2-year cycles, things are put off in the last 6 months right up before the election, having that longer 4-year cycle allows for more things to be accomplished. And most of the research says that the turnover rate is almost exactly the same. So while it is true that there is a feeling maybe that the citizens have more control over council if it was on a 2-year term, they don't exert that control. They don't choose to change their council members more often or less often. We see that it's just about exactly the same rate. Also, I want to say I'm a fervent small d Democrat. I really believe in letting the people decide. So I would please ask you to let this go to the voters of Chillicothe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lawhorn. Or Lawson, I'm sorry. Anybody else who would like to address council this evening? Not seeing so, we'll move on. At this point, we're into old business. Does anybody have any old business they'd like to bring up? Okay, not seeing any. Our clerk, Mr. Fawson, do you have any petitions and correspondence that you have received?
Mr. President, I do not have any other than a final reminder of the deadline for filing of the financial disclosure statements with the Ohio Ethics Commission. They do assess a $10 per day fine for late filing up to a total of $250. So this is the final reminder.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to new business. Does anybody have any new business they'd like to bring up? Yes, Ms. Corbin.
Yes, I'd just like to say that last week we had Arbor Day in the city park, and we had a couple of hundred fourth graders from Chillicothe City Schools and Bishop Flaget attend. And this was conducted by the Chillicothe Tree Commission, and others participated to teach our children the beauty and the power of trees, and I'd like to thank all those that participated. I'd also like to say that the Ross County Convention and Visitors Bureau today, which Beth Neal is on the board of the Bureau, held a hospitality luncheon to recognize those that participate in the tourism industry and also to honor those that exemplify what tourism stands for in this community. And the city had 2 nominations for an award. One was Janie Thomas, that attends to all the beautiful flower baskets, and she has other duties in the city. But she goes above and beyond, and she's always talking to people, and you know, you see her talking to people on the street. She does a really nice job, and she's a nice presentation for our city. And also the Chillicothe Tree Commission was also nominated for their volunteerism to our community. So I'd just like to recognize those persons.
Very good. Thank you very, very much. Any other new business anybody like to bring up? Yes, Mr. Kroll.
I would just like to recognize a group called First Capital Gaming. It's a local community of board and wargaming enthusiasts in the community. They just held a convention at the Ross County Fairgrounds, hopefully to make this an annual thing as a draw to the community. And they had a couple hundred people attend, and they had vendors and all kinds of activities for people of all ages. So congratulations to that group on getting that program off to a good start. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kroll. Yes, Ms. Patrick.
Thank you. I just want to remind people that large item pickup starts in a month from today. And also that June 17th out at the Ross County Fairgrounds, you can do electronic and tire recycling. So I'm encouraging that. And the next nuisance abatement board meeting is tomorrow at 2:30. And the nuisance officer has been extremely busy. He's noticed all the high grass, so please mow your grass if you can. It would be appreciated. That's it.
Very good, thank you. Anybody else have anything? I have got a pretty good list of committee assignments since our last meeting. Again, we've got a lot of work that's been going on. I will try to quickly go through these before we move on to our legislation. Engineering has a request for legislation to appropriate funds for signs and placement on truck and non-truck routes in the city per description in codified ordinances 339.02. Request for legislation for the city to be a conduit issue for issuance of bonds for the Adena Health Systems. We discussed that already this evening. Request for legislation for the city to enter into a lease to purchase agreement with the Chillicothe City Schools for the bus facility at 89 Riverside and to appropriate funds necessary for a 24-month lease. Request for legislation to accept the replacement pages of the codified ordinances that has been discussed. Request for legislation to ratify the agreement between the City of Chillicothe and the International Association of Firefighters. Request for legislation to appropriate $4,500 for the court to extend a maintenance contract. Request for legislation to authorize the court to apply for the Victims of Crime Act and the State's Victims Assistance Act, that I believe is on tonight's agenda. Request for legislation to accept and appropriate money reimbursed from HIDTA for overtime spent. Request for legislation to clarify the streetscape maintenance responsibilities for the downtown area. Request for a committee to review current ordinances in Chapter 903 of the codified ordinances dealing with sidewalks and present legislation to make changes if necessary. Request for legislation to permit the Chillicothe Police Department to sell the DARE vehicle to the Southern Ohio Crime Stoppers for $1. And today I got one for request for legislation to authorize the City of Chillicothe to apply for the Nature Works grant to be used for Yalkanji Park land acquisition. And that's what we've had. Ms. Patrick has mentioned some meetings. Does anybody else have any other meetings they'd like to bring forth this evening? Coming up? Not seeing any. At this time, we move into a long list of legislation. Mr. Fawson, whenever you're ready. Item number 1, please.
Third reading of an ordinance approving the action of the Planning Commission of the City of Chillicothe in rezoning property located at Stone Ridge Court at Stone Ridge Drive, Chillicothe, Ohio, from suburban residential multiple family district to single family residential district. Third reading.
Roll call, please.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Prohl.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that is passed. Item number 2.
Third reading of an ordinance appropriating $697.58 for the purchase of a video projector for use by City Council and declaring emergency. Third reading.
Roll call, please.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Prohl.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that ordinance has passed. Item number 3, please.
Third reading of an ordinance appropriating $16,900 to upgrade the HVAC control system in the city administration building and declaring an emergency. Third reading.
Roll call on that, please.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Prohl.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that ordinance has passed. Item number 4, please.
Third reading of a resolution amending Chapter 111 of the revised codified ordinances of the City of Chillicothe, Ohio, to provide that the president and members of City Council shall be elected for 4-year terms, and resolving that said amendments should be placed before the electors at the election to be held November 7, 2017. Third reading.
Roll call, please.
Clay.
No.
Corcoran.
No.
Florina.
No.
Gray.
No.
Kearney.
No.
Neal.
No.
Patrick.
No.
Prohl.
No.
Tatman.
Well, I guess the yes won't help any, so I guess I'll say no.
Okay, and that ordinance is, or resolution has been voted out. Item number 5.
Third reading of an ordinance adding sections 111.01C and 111.10C to the codified ordinances of the City of Chillicothe. Third reading.
Roll call, please.
Clay.
No.
Corcoran.
No.
Florina.
No.
Gray.
No.
Kearney.
No.
Neal.
No.
Patrick.
No.
Prohl.
No.
Tatman.
No.
And that ordinance has been defeated. Item number 6, please.
Third reading of an ordinance accepting and adopting the new City of Chillicothe Transit System Procurement Policy, the Chillicothe Transit System Financial Management Policies, and the CTS QuickBooks Accounts Payable and Receivable Procedures for the Transit Department. Third reading.
Item number, I'm sorry, roll call, please.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yeah.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that ordinance has passed. Item number 7, please.
Second reading of an ordinance appropriating $7,000 for the installation of a dry sump at the alley behind 169 East 7th Street. Second reading.
Item number 8.
Second reading of an ordinance authorizing the installation of a street light at the intersection of East Main Street and Logan Street. Second reading.
Item number 9.
Second reading of an ordinance accepting and adopting the new Safety, Security, and Emergency Preparedness Plan and the Bloodborne Pathogens Exposure Control Plan for the Chillicothe Transit System. Second reading.
Ms. Patrick?
And may I say, before you make any motion to suspend the 3 reading rule, that this also does not have emergency language. If it is needed to be effective as of the 17th, as you previously mentioned, it should have emergency language. Likewise, I just noticed item number 6 has no emergency language.
We'll leave that up to the mayor. I know they have to have it in place. I don't know if they necessarily, have to have it on that day, I think. What do you think, Lee?
I think voting the passage tonight would be adequate.
Okay, just
Thank
wanted to
On 6,
point it out to
right?
you. Okay.
Well,
What about on the other
how
one?
about on
6.
9?
9.
It's the same thing.
Same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Motion to waive the 3 read rule,
Yes, please.
seconded by Mr. Clay. Roll call on that motion.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
Now roll call on that ordinance, please.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that ordinance has passed. Item number 10.
First reading of an ordinance declaring a particular vehicle obsolete or not needed and authorizing the Utilities Director to trade in said vehicle simultaneously with the purchase of a new vehicle and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Ms. Patrick?
I'd like to make a motion to waive the 3 read rule.
I have a motion to waive the 3 read rule, seconded by Mr. Kroll. Roll call on that motion.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
We've waived the 3 read rule. Roll call on the ordinance.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that ordinance has passed. Item number 11.
First reading of an ordinance accepting and appropriating $4,022 received as payoff of a CHIP mortgage and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Ms. Neal?
I'd like to make a motion to waive the 3 read rule.
I have a motion to waive the 3 read rule, seconded by Mr. Clay. Roll call on that motion.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
The motion has passed. Roll call on the ordinance.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that ordinance has passed. Item number 12.
First reading of a resolution authorizing the Ohio Regional Development Corporation to file an application with the State of Ohio Development Services Agency on behalf of the city to participate in the 2017 CDBG Community Development Allocation Program and the 2017 CDBG Community Development Critical Infrastructure Competitive Set-Aside Program and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Ms. Neal,
I'd like to make a motion to waive the 3 read rule.
I have a motion to waive the 3-read rule, seconded by Mrs. Gray. Roll call on that motion, please.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Farima.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
The motion is passed. Roll call on the resolution, please.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florima.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that resolution has passed. Item number 13.
First reading of a resolution authorizing the Chillicothe Municipal Court to apply for the Victims of Crime Act grant and the State Victims Assistance Act grant to extend the Chillicothe Municipal Court Victim Witness Assistance Program, accepting said grants if awarded, and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Mr. Florima,
Thank you, President Arnold. Reflecting my report, I would like to ask to waive the 3-read rule.
I have a motion to waive the 3-read rule, seconded by Mr. Clay. Roll call on that motion.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florima.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
Motion has passed. Roll call on the legislation.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florima.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that resolution has passed. Item number 14.
First reading of an ordinance appropriating $4,500 to extend a maintenance contract for the Chillicothe Municipal Court and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Mr. Florima,
Thank you, President Arnold. I will also, once again, ask to waive the 3-read rule.
I have a motion to waive the 3-read rule, seconded by Mrs. Gray. Roll call on that motion.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florima.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
The motion has passed. Roll call on the legislation, please.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florima.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that ordinance has passed. Item number 15, please.
First reading of an ordinance accepting and appropriating $2,335 in grant funds received from the Junior Civic League for use by the Chillicothe Fire Department and declaring emergency. First reading.
Mr. Florima,
To use the available funds, I'm asking to request waive the 3-read rule.
okay, I have a motion to waive the 3-read rule, seconded by Mr. Kroll. Roll call on that motion.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florima.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
That motion is passed. Roll call on the ordinance, please.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florima.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that ordinance has passed. Item number 16.
First reading of an ordinance accepting and appropriating $3,000 received from the Ross County Auditor to be used for anti-bullying education prevention and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Mr. Florima,
To use available funds, currently I'm asking to waive the 3-read rule.
I have a motion to waive the 3-read rule, seconded by Mr. Clay. Roll call on that motion.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florima.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
That motion has passed. Roll call on the legislation.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that ordinance has passed. Item number 17.
First reading of an ordinance appropriating $1,000 to cover costs related to the lease and operation of a new copy machine for use within the Chillicothe Municipal Court Probation Department and declaring emergency. First reading.
Mr. Florina?
Once again, I'd like to waive the 3-read rule.
I have a motion to waive the 3-read rule, second by Mrs. Neal. Roll call on that motion.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
That motion is passed. Roll call on the legislation.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
Item number 18.
First reading of an ordinance accepting and appropriating an Ohio Courts Technology Grant in the amount of $6,843 and declaring emergency. First reading.
Mr. Florina?
President Arnold, thank you. Once again, I would like to waive the 3-read rule.
I have a motion to waive the 3-read rule, seconded by Mrs. Gray. I was waiting. Roll call on that motion, please.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
That motion has passed. Roll call on the legislation.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that ordinance has passed. Item number 19.
First reading of an ordinance supporting a community yard sale to be held the weekend of June 2nd, 2017 through June 4th, 2017, and waiving the yard sale permit fee of $5 for that weekend and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Dr. Kearney?
Yes. Mr. President, I'd like to ask to waive the 3-rule reading.
I have a motion to waive the 3-read rule with Mrs. Patrick second. Roll call on that motion, please.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Your.
And roll call on that legislation, please.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that ordinance has passed. Item number 20.
First reading of an ordinance to approve current replacement pages to the Chillicothe codified ordinances and declaring emergency. First reading.
Mr. Kroll?
Even though we've already broken a record on number of votes for tonight, I would like to ask that we please waive the 3-read rule so we can get this done.
I have a motion to waive the 3-read rule, seconded by Mrs. Patrick. Roll call on that motion.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that motion has passed. Roll call on the legislation.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And the ordinance has passed. Item number 21.
First reading of an ordinance providing for the issuance of $235,000 police vehicle acquisition bonds and declaring emergency. First reading.
Mr. Florina?
Thank you, President Arnold. This is my last one.
You sure?
Yeah, I am. This is of pressing nature, and we have discussed this. This was in the budget, so I will kindly ask you to waive the 3-read rule.
And seconded by Mrs. Gray. Roll call on that motion.
Clay.
Of course, yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And roll call on the legislation.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that ordinance has passed this evening.
The rest of
Pretty
it.
close. Item 22.
First reading of an ordinance determining the necessity of and authorizing the issuance and sale of hospital facilities revenue refunding and improvement bonds, Series 2017, Adena Health System Obligated Group Project of the City of Chillicothe, Ohio, in a principal amount not to exceed $175 million, authorizing the execution and delivery of an agreement of lease and sublease in connection therewith, authorizing the execution and delivery of an indenture of trust to secure such Series 2017 bonds, authorizing execution and delivery of a bond purchase contract with respect to the Series 2017 bonds, authorizing execution and delivery of a tax exemption certificate and agreement in connection with the issuance of the Series 2017 bonds, authorizing a preliminary and final official statement with respect to the Series 2017 bonds, and authorizing a participating public hospital agencies agreement and other documents in connection with the issuance of the Series 2017 bonds and declaring an emergency. First reading.
I missed some of that. Could you reread some? I'm just kidding.
The third sentence.
Mr. Cole, who's going to sign this?
That one,
We're just reading that
Yeah,
one.
just reading that one.
Move along.
Okay, all right.
Get them out.
And last but not least, item number 23.
First reading of an ordinance authorizing the conveyance of certain real property located at 52 Western Avenue to the Ross County Land Reutilization Corporation and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Ms. Neal,
I'd like to make a motion to waive the 3-read rule.
and motion to waive the 3-read rule, seconded by Mr. Clay. Roll call on that motion.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
Motion has passed. Roll call on the legislation, please.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that legislation has passed. Does anybody have anything else to add? I might make just a quick statement. I must say, you were all a bunch of yes men and women tonight. Mr. Florina,
Motion.
and I'll give Mr. Tatman the second to that.
I don't want to say.
Roll call on the motion to adjourn.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Kearney. Neal.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes, and that. Amen.
We are adjourned for the evening. Have a